Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice of My Life, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the Mektig V2 by Scorpion 6 knives. Now I don't just have one Mektig V2, I actually have two Mektig V2s. So yes, I received my second one my second one was the first one that I actually ordered, but I'll get into that in a little while. Here we have the Mektig V2. This is serial number 17, and this is not really like a review video. I guess I kind of want to make like more of a show and tell video. So here you go. This is the first Mektig V2 that I received, and it came packaged in this cardboard box with a magnetic closure here, and I really like that touch a lot. Flip it open and you will see that it has been signed, so that is authenticity at its best. It also has a COA, so this is a Mektig V2 number 17, and the blade steel is Nitro V/satin in terms of the finishing. The handle here is made in zirconium. That explains the black color of it because it's been flamed. It's got an orange peel texture to it, by the way, and it's been contoured because this is nicely rounded. On the back though, it is a titanium lock bar side that has been anodized blue, and it's got a little bit of discoloration here simply because that's where all the oils go to, and once anodization touches oil, you know it's going to discolor. So I'm not going to blame anyone on that. It's natural to me, in my opinion. And it also has a little bit of bling here in terms of the pocket clip, and you can see that it is a Damantium clip, also known as Damascus, but basically it is a kind of a titanium sort of Damascus if you don't know what it is, and it's been flamed, so it's got this really interesting color as well. And in my opinion, it's a very cool looking knife, the Mektig V2. Oh yes, it was made on the 23rd of January 2019, so it took me almost a full year for me to actually talk about this knife, but now I feel comfortable enough because since the start of the year till now I've done a few more knife reviews, so I feel more comfortable with that. And this is what the knife looks like. Very cool looking design. It looks so cool. It looks like a tank, right? It's a little bit on the overbuilt side, but it's not really overbuilt. So one thing I want to mention about this particular Mektig is that it's got a contoured spine up here, and this spine has been rounded very nicely, and I gotta say that Shane over at Scorpion 6 Knives has done a really good job on this. So I mean, look at that. Look at that awesome satin finish. So it's got a Tanto style blade, as you guys can see here, and it's got this very beautiful cutout here. And actually, to be honest with you guys, this cutout here is the reason why I fell in love with the Mektig design in the first place. Now this is a V2. I've never ever seen a V1 in person, or I've never even handled one, so I don't know what the differences are between the V1 and the V2, but it's got a very beautiful Scorpion 6 Knives logo over here, and like this states, it's made of Nitro V. You got a cleaning cloth as well as a pouch, and you've got a little, I guess, disclaimer, warranty kind of thing. So yep, that's what comes in the package. And at this point of time, I gotta tell you guys though that this was actually an impulse buy. So what happened was I actually placed an order for a Mektig V2. Any orders from Scorpion 6 Knives can take up to about 42 weeks to build. So I was just waiting. I actually placed my order sometime late last year, and then this just suddenly appeared and went on sale. So I decided to splurge and get this because this actually is a lot of firsts for me. I've never had a Nitro V steel blade. I've never had zirconium scales. I've never had Damascus as a pocket clip material. It's just luxury on luxury on luxury. It's not really a need, more of a want, and I succumbed to it and I do not regret. Now in here also is his signature as well as the number 17 in there. You can see the hex right there, and you can see his signature, and there we go, the number 7. Can I get it a little bit more? Yep, there we go, 017. That's the serial number in there, and I think that's a really nice touch. Now there is a standoff at the back, and I use a standoff as a lanyard slot, so I could put a lanyard, but I don't think it looks nice with a lanyard though. Maybe it's the choice of lanyard color that I picked out. I went for like a blur pearl lanyard to match this half of the scale, and then a grey and black lanyard to match this side. So I was just trying to be artistic, you know, but I guess it isn't really working out. So that's it. I'll give you guys a quick size comparison, and the first knife I'll bring into the table is of course the CRKT Pilar, and you can see that it is just completely dwarfing the Pilar, even though you know that the Pilar is meant to be a smaller knife. A Para 3 Spyderco Para 3, and while it almost looks like it's going to be the same size as a Para 3, you can tell it is slightly longer than a Para 3. Last but not least is a Benchmade mini grip. There we go, larger than a mini grip anyway. So let me add more to the story. Fast forward a few more months now. Let me put this at the side because the next thing is going to take up a lot of space on screen. I finally received the first Mektig V2 that I ordered, and it came in this case. Let me just say this, okay? This Mektig here is a luxurious version of the Mektig V2, but it came in a cardboard box. So from then till now, Scorpion 6 Knives has upped their game in terms of packaging. This is a hard weatherproof case. Well, I want to show you guys the details on the side. I'll try my best to do that because I have limited space from the table to the camera lens. So it's got a made in USA sticker right here. On the other side is the marking here that says Mektig V2 number 43, and it's got their signatures on this. I don't know whose signatures these are. If it's just Shane alone, then maybe, but it could be Shane and his wife. I don't know. This thing has a nice rubber handle. I mean, attention to detail, you know, it's really awesome. There's got a Scorpion 6 knives sticker on the top here. We'll just open this up. 2 clasps to hold this thing down, one on each side, and I know it's gonna be hard to flip it open because I'll hit the camera. You know what, I'll just do this off camera. Yep, so you can see it is very, very nicely padded, and this is the presentation that I received this in. Yes, I've taken the knife out, I've actually used it, but this was the presentation. You actually have your COA here, Mektig V2 number 43, and this is in CPM 154 steel, satin finish as well, and the handles are different from what I have over there, and that's because this is the one I originally asked for. These are sculpted and it's been anodized as well, a blur pearl color, very, very nice blur pearl color. This copper pivot collar is a free gift that Shane threw in, so I gotta say thank you, Shane. It's a nice copper color contrast to the purple here, and I think it looks very, very nice. I like it. Thank you so much. Basically birthed in August and it was promptly shipped out, so I've actually had this for quite a while. I just did not make a video on it, but apart from that, if you really look at the box itself, it's pick and plug foam. So if you want, you can actually just kind of plug out whatever you want and then create your own space for whatever you want to use this case for. I think it's a really, really cool thing. But right now, I'll just put the case aside and make way for both Mektigs because they are the stars of this slice of my life. Now, looking at this, you guys can see the main difference between the scales. This one here has been contoured, so you see all these curved sides like that, but this one here has not been contoured. It has been textured. I really love this pattern over here. I like this texturing done. And of course, they both have slots here. That's one of the features of the Mektig. I think you can request for no slots. I'm not so sure. Don't take my word for that. See, it's also present on the flip side. One thing I kind of wish for is that texturing would also be done here on this part of the lock bar, but I can understand if it's limitations. There is texturing, however, on the bottom here. But yeah, pocket clip is also in titanium, and what I did, I have to admit that I did this. I took a fingernail buffing pad and I buffed up all of the raised parts so that the colors would really pop. And that's something that I added just a little bit of extra flair to this thing. Now, you guys with your sharp eyes would have noticed that this here, the spine of the blade is not curved. This one here, like I said, was curved and contoured by Shane himself. I'm gonna deploy this and then deploy the other one so that we can have a comparison. So the blade does look a little bit different. The swedge here on the non-contoured one is a little bit smaller when compared to this one, and really I guess it's just more of a kind of taste kind of thing. But one thing I feel that could have been improved is the way this was cut out. As you can see, the grind doesn't really follow the cut out perfectly. It's something that might irk people, especially those with more of an OCD complex. But for me, it's like I wish it was a little bit more more parallel, if that's such a word. Especially here as well, you could see that the grind line did not follow this cut out very well. I think that could have been done a little better, but apart from that, this thing CPM 154 has been finished very well. Hand rub satin. The next difference is that the Scorpion 6 knives logo is a little bit deeper etched on this blade as compared to this one. You guys can see that one isn't as deep and it looks a little bit more elegant here. This one looks a bit more aggressive. Neither looks bad. And that's me comparing the two blades. Now I'm going to be comparing the scales because you realize that I did not talk about ergonomics, and that's because the difference in the way the scales are made will also result in a difference in terms of ergonomics. So this one over here, I'm going to call this number 43 because, yep, you guys can see number 43 is in there, and with its signature as well, of course. Number 43 featuring this standard, I would say it's a standard scale with this textured pattern here, is not as comfortable to hold onto versus the contoured one over here. So this contouring really makes it a lot more comfortable. I don't know why, but this thing feels slightly smaller in hand. That contouring really makes a huge difference, but here on this one, it feels a lot more aggressive. It feels more harsh, and that's to be expected because not only is it a hard edge, there's no actual chamfer here because of all this texturing as well. So that's something, you know, you gotta sacrifice if you really want to get texturing like this. In terms of the way it looks though, I really love this texturing here. I kind of now wish that this was textured, but like I said, this was an impulse buy. I can't remember who I bought this off, but it was a knife company. I'll put the name of the company on screen. I'm sorry I forgot who you are, but thank you so much for the great customer service. Both parties really had good customer service. But yeah, basically comparing those two, that's the main difference. Now I'm going to be talking about the general ergonomics of the Mektig V2. So I like this dip here because this allows your thumb to sit in there when you're gripping your knife. See, it's the perfect spot it's really strange that it has that spot there. It's different because most knives would feature jimping up here, but this slot right here, it's like a perfect spot in between the blade and the scales. And this space here, the way it's done, the way it's set up, provides a good amount of grip. It's really strange for me to say that because, you know, it is smooth. It's smooth and it can be slippery, but it's just that gap there where the fat of my thumb is actually able to sit in there. It just gives me a great amount of grip, and that's actually more than enough. It's really strange, but this is so well done. I gotta tip my hat off to Scorpion 6 knives for this. Like, this design here is something that's really awesome, and I didn't even pick up on this through pictures. I had to first try it out before I actually realized that this was a thing. Now, you could technically choke up on this thing, but it would mean that your index finger would be really close to the cutting edge. Too close for comfort for some people, I'm sure. It's a nice curve that fits the side of your index finger because you're not pressing it up like this way, you're pressing against it on the side, so your index finger is actually pressing against that flipper tab there. It just sits in like that. And it's the same for number 17. Even though it's a different blade material, the same shape is there, and it also works very well as a sharpening choil. I mean, I'm sure that's the intent, but you could still choke up on it, you know? Here, of course, the ergos are pretty good. It gives you that space in between your index finger and the rest of your fingers as well, so I like it a lot in terms of this grip. The reverse grip, however, the reverse grip is a little bit different. It's a little bit uncomfortable in my opinion, and of course, guys, I have smaller hands, so these two fingers kind of want to sit in this area here, and then my middle finger wants to go up here like that, so that's kind of strange. And if I just squeeze my fingers all together, then my middle finger is feeling really weird because of this area protruding out like that. So I don't think this is meant to be for reverse grips, but really it is up to the end user. Now, the last thing I will talk about is the price, and I saved this for the last because it is the most controversial point in my opinion, especially when it comes to these two knives. So this model here, this one that was made basically for luxury purposes, and this has been mostly a case queen. I have carried this a couple of times before. I've used it for very simple tasks like opening boxes and cutting paper, but this cost me $1,450 US. It was a really expensive purchase, and it is just me splurging. Will I hold on to this forever? I don't know. But one thing I will say about this is that as far as I know, up to this point, this is Shane's personal favorite Mech-Tech V2 that he's done so far because of all the small little nuances he's given this. This one over here cost me about $800 US. Now, there is a base price for any of the knives that Scorpion 6 Knives has to offer. They only open up their books every once in a while, and waiting time is generally about 42 weeks for any knife that you place an order for. But this one was about $800 because you get to choose things like what kind of finish you want, what kind of materials you have. Do you want to have a pivot collar, things like that. So there's a lot of choices for you. Just speak to them if you're interested. And the best way that I know of, if you want to be notified of when their books are open again, make sure that you sign up for the newsletter on their website, and also make sure that you follow their Instagram account. I'll put links to all of this in the description box down below because I think customer service is really top notch, and I do not regret making this purchase at all. This one was an impulse buy, like I said. I know I might be selling this, not so sure because eventually this is going to be a case queen because I'll be carrying this definitely. This is meant to be a beater, you know, like I bought this so that I could really put this to use. Oh, one more thing that I want to share. In one of my previous videos, I spoke about the Komodo by Northside knife, and I mentioned that for a pocket clip like this that is held in by 2 screws, I don't like if the pocket clip has some wobble. This one has close to no wobble. Yes, it moves up and down a little bit, very little, not as obvious as the Northside knife Komodo, maybe because the Komodo clip was a lot longer, but this one here is just very minute. And let me just show you guys what it is like on the Timascus clip as well. This one here virtually has no give at all. This one is there, like super secure. It's on there and it's not gonna move at all. And I like the way it's lined up like that because this part is not actually touching any part of the scale at all, so you're not going to be scratching the scale with the back of the clip. And oh, since we are talking about the pocket clip, this is not a deep carry pocket clip. This is what it looks like. Yes, back to the microfiber cloth to simulate the pocket again. It sits in the pocket like that. This much sticks out. You don't actually get to peek any of the blade, so that's quite cool, and it will look quite interesting sticking out of your pocket, especially if you have that Timascus clip. Let me just show you guys with the Timascus clip. It really is just some pocket jewelry sticking out there, a little bit of bling. So look at that. Having that sticking out of your pocket is actually quite cool looking in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it houses a very aggressive looking knife, just this beast in your pocket ready to go at any point of time. But yeah, I like that. And basically that is it. These are my two Mektig V2s, everyone. Mektig V2 number 43 and Mektig V2 number 17. And with that said, I hope that I provided enough information to help you decide whether or not the Mektig V2 is a knife for you. I enjoy this a lot. I don't need to. If you're interested in taking this one off me, just let me know. I'm sure we can work out a deal some way, somehow. Apart from that, you know, I really wanted a Mektig in my collection, and this is gonna be it. It's not going to be a case queen, it's going to be put to use for sure. Very, very good customer service from Scorpion 6 Knives, and very, very good packaging as well. Really, I think possibly the best packaging for a pocket knife so far that I've seen. Of course, at that price point, it's something that you would be expecting, and Scorpion 6 did not fail to deliver. If you enjoyed the content that I'm putting out here on this channel, I hope that you will consider subscribing, and if you do subscribe, make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you will be notified of any new uploads that I put out. Also, I run a Patreon page. I'll put a link up here to that if you want to take a look at that. And if you do become a patron of mine, thank you so much in advance. It would really mean a lot to me. And now we've come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for sticking all the way throughout and sharing in this slice of my life, and I will catch all of you in the next video. Until then, everyone, Gaga Boost.